guys, Tales from Studio Wildfire here. I have just finished editing the Fantasy Starter Token Pack, and I thought I would demo it here so you can see what the tokens look like on the virtual tabletop FoundryVTT, which I've just set them up for. Now, for this demo, what I've gone and done is I've got a base map that I've made. It's just something I've thrown together, and I've made a actor for each of the tokens or each of the token sets in the package. So we've got Demosthenes, son of Diomedes. Where do I get these names wrong? The forest nymph. We've got Jasser the Unseen, Kogan the Barbarian, Silverdawn Assassin, Sabrina the Archer. So there's a whole heap of characters there, and each character comes with a wide range of renders of the character in a number of different poses. So these are some of the characters here. So let me just get rid of that. Delete. So for example, this is the fellow whose name I can't pronounce, Demosthenes, or pronoun. So I've set him up so that each time I drag him down, a new different token with a different pose of the character is displayed. It's a good way of creating a quick army of these characters. So I'll quickly go through each one to give you a look. So I've created. Whoops. I've done. I've separated out some of the characters where they've got they take up an unusually large amount of space. So, for example, this character with the spear, he takes it like he overfills a general, as you can see by the character square. He overflows that by quite a lot because he's got this big spear. So, on those ones, they use a particular scaling, which is what I'll get to in just a moment. But generally, most of the character tokens use a scaling of 2 when you come to set them up, and I'll show you to set them up in just a moment. So let's go down to the forest nymph. A couple of different versions of it here. So you can see that there is a wide range of. She's there with a staff, or she's got a bow. Then we've got Griminar the warrior. Oops. That's one of the wounded ones. Another one of the wounded, where he's just knocked down. Then he's up and get into the up and fighting one. So he's got a bow. He's got a shield and axe just there. 2 axes. And then I've got him mounted as well. So he's on a horse. Oh, and there's only just that one token of that guy. So let's go down to the next guy. Jasser the Unseen. Whoops, I keep single clicking. So as you can see, once the character's set up, all you do is just click and drag, and it just places out the token, all correctly sized, and because I'm using the wildcard section, it just randomly places down one of the random character tokens. And I'll show you how to set that up in just a moment. So here's Carissa the Blade Maiden. Oops. Must not single click, must click drag. There we go. So all of the token sets have like a couple wounded or knocked out versions of the character. So here's Kogan the Barbarian. So the different poses come in handy if you've got different scenes, like if you're doing a bar scene and you only want to have the character sort of just generally standing around, or if he's been knocked down, or he's got a shield and sword. Oops. like a African Spartan, or just a Spartan, you know, guy's been out in the sun all day. Once again, there's a spearman version of him as well. So again, he uses a slightly different scaling simply because the spear takes up a lot of space. Then we've got a priestess of a moon. Where she's, you know, just standing around, or she's got a bow, or she's got a mace. She's talking. Then we've got Sabrina the Archer. Now we've got the Silver Dawn Assassin. Now you don't have to use the names that I've come up with them. They're just basically how I've sort of given them a name holder, so you can differentiate between each one. Here's Sir Roland the Just, and he's just a knight. Just a knight with the very big sword. Very, very big sword. And again, he's got a different version as well. So he's got the normal standard character token, where it's just him. Then he's on horseback, mounted. Now that obviously uses a different scaling size because the horse is quite large, overfills one character square. And there's also a copy of him with a spear, there's a few different versions of him with the spear. And again, they take up, because as you can see, he's like 10 feet long. So let's scroll down the list. So that was Sir Ronald, the not so famous cousin of MacDonald. Now this is Sir Tristan, who is another knight. And once again, he has a mounted version of him as well. And there's a spearman version of him as well, which I have a funny feeling I've only got one or two tokens of him. So he's got a halberd here and a spear here. Then we're down to Sophie the Rogue. Now I'm only putting out about 5 tokens from each one, but as I show you in a moment, there are a lot more tokens in each character set. It's just this video would be incredibly boring if I went through the entire lot. And then there's Wilbur the Wizard. Oops. There's another one of the wounded. So there's where he's just knocked out, and there's a wounded one where he's a bit of blood. But that's the wizard. Now, when you go to set up because basically the pack just gives you raw image files. So how you set up the token or the artwork to be used with your actor. So I'll go to, let's just have a look at Wilbur the Wizard. So we'll go to the prototype token from the character sheet. Now, when you go to set your appearance, you've got the image path. So you would obviously go and find. So I've put all of my tokens into a folder in my data folder called called token artwork. So within there, there's then the I've put the fantasy starter token pack. You know, you may find that you need to put it in a different spot for your web server, or however you are sharing the files for your campaign. But basically, I've got them in here for the moment because I'm just using my local computer. So you'd put all the folders in here. Now you'll see that each folder name has the name of the character, then it has in brackets at the end of it a number. Now the number is the scaling that you want to use for these characters. So for example, now this is Wilbur the Wizard, so I would want to scroll down here to Wilbur the Wizard, go into the folder. Now as you can see, there's a large number of, go to images. Oops. So as you can see, there's a large number of images for this one character set of the character in a wide range of poses. But if you're using it, you know, just say you want to just use this one, you select that one, so it's now in the image path. The dimensions, which is how many grids it'll take up, map grids, leave it as 1:1 because each of your grid squares, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or anything like that, your map grid squares will be 5 foot by 5 foot. Leave it as 1:1. Now the next bit is the scaling. You'll want to make that the same number as was in the brackets in the file name, in the folder name. So for example, if we have a look back here in the path, so if I scroll back down this way, so here's the name of the character. So it's Wilbur the Wizard bracket 2. So you want to make the scaling 2. Now if you do that, he will count every time you place him. If I just close that, every time you place him, he'll be scaled correctly. He will be, should be standing in the middle of the square. He'll be scaled correctly, so he should be, you know, what the character size is correctly at 5 feet. And you know, when you zoom in and out, he'll look the part. Now, to do the wildcard, for those of you who don't know how to do the wildcard, so that every time you place down the character, a different one appears, come back to your prototype token, back to appearance. Now, where it says randomize wildcard images, you want to check that on. Then what you want to do is you want to go back to the image file path, go to the very end, and in the image name, you will see, I've already done it with this one, but for example in this one it usually has a 4-digit number at the end. So for example for Wilbur the Wizard, it will be Wilbur the Wizard -000, or you know, it might be 0010 or 0020 or whatever, WEBP. So in order to use the wildcard, you want it to use any image within that number range, so from 0 through to whatever number is in the whole character thing. So what you do is you get rid of the 4 zeros and replace it with a star. Do that, go update token, and then every time you place that character, it will have a different one. Now, you don't want to do it all the time because sometimes you want to use a specific token for the character that you're using, but it's a good way for DMs, for Dungeon Masters, to go and quickly create an army of characters. Let's say you've got like you're using Sir Roland the Just. So let's just get rid of this guy. You're using Sir Roland the Just to create an army of knights in a kingdom that are maybe like the city guard. So you can just drag and drop, and very, very quickly you've got an army of knights. Obviously you'll not want to use the ones that are wounded, or you know, maybe this guy who's crouching is not quite the right thing. But you know, there's a guard on the door, there's the guard in the hallway, maybe he's out on the rampart, he's also on the rampart, he's you know, defending a hall. So it's a quick way of being able to create an army of characters with very little work. So that is how the that is how to scale the characters so they work good, and that's how it all works in FoundryVTT. Thank you very much. If you like the gear that I'm producing, please like, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. Thanks very much. Catch you later.